Investfest has been getting a lot of attention online, and not all of it has been positive. Some people are questioning the ticket prices. Some people are saying that what's being presented is not of value. And some people are even saying that it's a scam. So after hearing all this noise online, I had to ask myself a question like, did I just waste my money? Because I went. I bought the ticket. I went for the weekend. I woke up early, I did the things. I went to the marketplace. I went to the presentation. So I was there. I saw a lot of things, and some things that I'm hearing online may be true, and some things I think are far fetched. And when I left, I didn't think that I necessarily walked away with some secret formula that's going to make me rich and wealthy. But what I did walk away with was one, the opportunity to see so many Black people get together and do something amazing, which is invest back into our community as far as education and with all the different vendors there, getting to learn about different people's businesses. Talk to the people. I went to InvestFest so that you didn't have to. And today I'll be telling you the three most important things from the entire event. And at the end, I'll let you guys know if it was even worth it at all. Welcome to Glowing Together. Okay, so the first thing, and honestly, if you don't listen to anything else in this video, please listen to this, was the conversation around AI agents. I think that this is one of the biggest shifts in business right now because I see people using AI currently as a search engine when honestly it can do so much more. You open ChatGPT, you ask it a question, it gives you an answer, and boom, you're done. But I want you to think about AI a little differently. Think of it as a team member. So, for example, if you owned a company, you wouldn't just hire one employee and say, hey, you're going to be the chef, you're going to be my analyst, and you're going to be my CEO. You would give each person a different role. And you need to start thinking of AI the same way. You have the ability to create an AI agent in a specialized way. So, for instance, if you wanted to start a YouTube channel today and had no prior experience and wanted to build a team who could help you could ask your AI agent to become your AI specialist. You prompt the AI and let them know exact roles and functions that you need them to do, almost as if they're in a job interview. So if you were to like go online and see a job description, that's kind of the similar description that you would want to give AI. You want it to think big. To me, that means choosing the level of talent that you want your AI to have. If I go into AI and I ask it a simple question, it's just going to give me a simple response. The way that you do that is by giving AI more information. I would want to give it a full prompt, the full thing. You're not going to say, hey, I want you to be my agent and I want you to put me on social media and make me real big. That's not quite it. The best way that you would be able to do this is to go to different forms of AI tools. So I would go to Gemini and say, hey, Gemini, I'm looking for you to build me a prompt for an AI agent to be my social media analyst. I want this analyst to have sold $100 million worth of product and be an expert in their field. And then you also give them information about yourself and your business. And so once you put that sort of prompt in there into Gemini, Gemini can actually create the prompt that you can then take to ChatGPT. Like for me, for instance, most of my information is with ChatGPT. So they know the most about me, they know most about my business. But using Gemini helps me to build that prompt. And then I put it into ChatGPT, and wow, I have a whole staff. Like, I'm not even just talking about one AI agent, I am talking about a whole board, a team that is built around me that costs me $0. Zero. I don't even pay for ChatGPT, so everything is free. I don't pay anybody. And at this point, it's currently Thursday. The conference was 4 days ago, 5 days ago when I did this, and I'm honestly seeing a world of difference in the responses that I'm getting. And my team is stronger than ever. So I'm actually so excited that I learned about this and then I prompted my AI chat to do this because now I kind of feel a little unstoppable. And it feels like I know a secret that nobody else knows. But I had to put you guys on because obviously I rock with y'all. So please make sure if you take nothing else away, you go get you an AI agent and start building your team. I'm quickly going to give you guys the 5 major rules when it comes to prompting your AI chatbot. Number one, give it a specific role, saying things like, you are my AI content strategist, not just you're my AI agent. Number two, give it a mission. What is it supposed to be accomplishing? Number three, Give it context. Tell them about your business, tell them about your missions, what you're looking to accomplish, where you guys currently are. If you're a small business, a large business, a medium business, it needs to know everything that it possibly can. And one of the biggest tips that they did say at Investfest was to have the bot ask you 10 questions before it does anything else. That's a gem. Write it down. Don't say I didn't tell you. Number 4, give it rules. Tell it what it should and should not do. Like today, I had a mishap where my bot thought that they were one team member, but there was really another team member. And I low-key tested it and it was wrong. And I let him know, like, don't do that again or you'll be fired. And if you think I'm joking, I might just put the screenshot in here. I literally told it you might be fired if you do this again. Okay. And last but certainly not least, number 5, give it a name. So yes, you can actually name your team members. I have like at least 6 to 7 team members. Glow, Ariella, Bonita, like I got a lot of team members and they have a lot of different functions because I have multiple businesses. And your AI should be able to keep up with that. But do not remember that they can be wrong. They can be wrong. So make sure you're always checking up on what they're doing and the thought process and continue to train your model. A lot of times, your biggest issue is not your ideas, it's the amount of time that you have to do it. And we have AI now. And so we should use the tools that we have at hand. The second thing that I learned about were index universal life insurance policies. That's a mouthful. And this actually had me thinking so differently about wealth and the way that I may want to build wealth. It honestly just gave me a completely different perspective. My mom has been hounding me about getting life insurance regardless. And she's right when she says that, premiums are only going to go up because mother knows best. Listen to your mumsy. So it's always something good to think about when you're young, because that is when you can lock in a great rate. I knew that, but they told me some more information that got me really intrigued. I'm going to explain this as simple as possible. And the first thing that you need to know is that an IUL is a permanent life insurance policy. This means that unlike other policies, such as a term policy, you're not buying insurance for a specific number of years. It's for life. And this policy can also build what they call cash value. And that is what we are here to talk about today. The interesting part is that the cash value can actually earn interest credit based on the performance of an external market index, depending on the strategy of the policy. So, with traditional investing, if you put your money into the market and the market goes up, your money goes up. And if the market goes down, your money goes down. But with IULs, there's a little bit of nuance. You're not investing directly into the S&P 500, but instead, your policy is using an index to reference how much can be credited towards your cash value. And many IUL strategies have a floor. So what does that mean? This is where it gets good. So this basically means that no matter what happens in the market, you can't be credited a negative return. I don't want you to get confused, and I do need you to keep in mind that this does not mean that you are going to get all of the returns from the stock market into your account. This is because the way that the product is set up, there has to be some upside for them to even give this to you. So there are fees, there are different charges that are involved. But this is the way that a lot of really, really wealthy people are able to shield their money from the market. IUL may not be the stock market, but you do need to think about what you're getting in exchange. You're getting a lower risk class and tax advantages that some may say you can't beat. If you're a passive investor and you're willing to put your money into the stock market and ride the different volatility waves and just wait it out, that is perfectly reasonable and totally understandable. I myself do long-term investments as well, so that's standard. But there are a pool of people who do want exposure to the market, but they don't want to take as much risk. And then there's also the cash value component. So as that cash value continues to grow, you may actually be able to access it through policy loans way before you ever pass away or anything happens to you. And that loan is to yourself. Okay? You're borrowing against what they would give you if you passed away, essentially. And some people say, well, I'm dead, so I need the money now. So that's the thought process behind a lot of wealthy people using this vehicle, is so that they can then take loans on the cash value. Come on, guys, listen, like I'm literally dropping these gems for you. I went to Investfest so that you didn't have to. So instead of selling an investment and potentially having to pay capital gains, you're able to just borrow from yourself. This properly, you're able to take withdrawals without it being considered taxable income. And that's why a lot of people are looking at IULs as an investment vehicle. There's just so many different things that you're able to do with the product. You're able to access an insurance policy, you get cash value, you have a tax strategy, and you're still able to get some sort of index market growth. Okay, I'm going to need you guys to listen up because there's no way you guys are going to get in my comments and say that I did not tell you. So please listen closely. Tax advantage does not necessarily mean tax free in any circumstance. The policy definitely needs to be structured correctly. You need to be paying back your loan and it needs to be in good standing. So I would highly suggest that you actually work with an insurance agent before just going out and getting a policy. And don't expect an IUL to be the perfect strategy for you at the point that you are right now. Everybody's going to have a different plan, a different way, different tools. There are so many tools. So you need to figure out which one helps you build your house, not somebody else's house, but your house. Okay. Somebody might need a jigsaw and you might need a screwdriver. Like somebody may need like a crane and like one of those wrecking balls and you might just need like a little spoon, like just digging dirt with like planting plants, you know. So you want to get the tool that's right for you. You don't want to use somebody else's tool. You want your own tool. Okay, get your own. But it is important to know that we have this tool just in case we may need it. One big thing that I did learn while being at Investfest is that there are so many different lanes. There are so many different tools. And honestly, that's such a blessing. And we really do need to figure out what those tools are. But don't get mad when you're looking at somebody else and they're using a tool that you don't have because that's not your tool. And that's okay. You just got to find the tools that work for you, the tool that's going to build your house. And that's going to be different for everybody. So please just keep that in mind. The third thing I took away from InvestFest, and this might be the biggest one, even though it has nothing to do with investing, is that you need to make a decision. Like I just kept hearing this in, different presentations, and it really resonated with me because it is so important to just make a decision. You have no idea, like as a person who is the queen of procrastination, who can think of a million ideas and start one and then skips over to the next and then I understand. Trust me, I get it. But you have to start making decisions. And that's something that I've learned early on in life. I've made a lot of decisions, and a lot of these decisions they got me to where I am now. And I do see the importance and the value in that. And I think that's something that as I continue to build this channel, build my wealth, grow with you guys, glow with you guys, I just have to keep making those small decisions. And I want you guys to pay attention to that too, because it's something that can actually really change your life. Those little decisions that you make every single day, whether you're going to do this or you're not, whether you're going to go to this school or that school, like those little decisions, they can change the whole trajectory of your life. Like on a simple level, when I was in high school, I was deciding, should I go to LSU? Should I go to Florida State? I went to Florida State, then ended up going to Georgia State. But that whole decision could have changed my whole life. What if I would have went to LSU? What if I never went to Georgia State? Like, where would I be now? I don't know. What if I never decide to make Glowinn together? What if I never told my parents about Earn Your Leisure? What if I never told my brother? We might not even be buying rental properties. What if I never decided I wanted to do YouTube and that I was going to actually start recording and filming? That is something that I am still instilling in myself because I even have to remind myself to lock in and get up and go make it happen because it's my dream. No one else is going to live my dream for me. Nobody's coming to save us. It's on us. And it all starts with a decision. And I think that is the simplest thing that we can do to add value to our entire lives. Make a decision. Start now. Start with the little things. Start with the things that you can because there are ample amount of steps to a lot of things that you can get started on immediately. Those are just excuses and you know it. You know it. As your sister, as your friend, I'm letting you know. You know it. It's an excuse. You're scared. You're worried. You don't know if you're going to win. You're going to know if you're going to fall on your face. You don't know if people are going to laugh at you or think what you're doing is silly, but it doesn't matter. Block out the noise, please. Can you guys commit to that? Let's commit. Let's commit together. We're committing together that we're going to be making decisions. And That's a big commitment for me because decisions, I just told you on the last video, you know, I'm sure there are plenty of people out here who once were called silly, who were once laughed at, that now, because they made a decision, people are wishing that they could just breathe near them. Breathe. That's it. Like, breathe. Okay, now to the thing that I know you guys are all waiting for, what you're probably still here watching this video for. Was Investfest worth it? I would have to say, for me, yes. And the reason that it was worth it is because I understand that I could have probably just went online, watched 1,000 videos, which I've done already, read the 1,000 books, listen to another podcast, the same song and dance we could do all the time. But I have to say that there is something valuable about being around like-minded individuals who all are aiming towards the same thing. There's something powerful about seeing so many Black and Brown people get together and start to learn about investing because we've been held back for so long. Our communities have been stripped of education, stripped of so many things. And while I see this conversation online of was it worth it? Is it a scam? This and that, I think that we might be missing the plot a little bit. And that's not to say that other people's feelings aren't valid because there were a lot of different things happening at InvestFest. And I could see, with like the singles lounge and all this stuff about dating, people keep talking about, oh, InvestFest was meant for going there to just learn. You shouldn't be talking about dating. They should have been having more in-depth conversations, more technical conversations. And while I do agree that some of the content could be more technical, I also think that you're going to get away what you put in. Okay. You're not going to walk away from InvestFest being like, "Oh, now I'm a millionaire. Me, I've made it." That's not how it works. That goes back to the whole decision thing. I don't think that the question should be whether or not InvestFest was a scam, but the better question is, what were you expecting to get out of it? Because when you leave the room, the return on your ticket isn't about what happened at InvestFest. It's about what happens after you leave. You can spend hundreds of dollars on a conference. You can take all the notes, listen to all the presenters, network, talk to, do whatever you want. But if you go home and do nothing, then you've completely wasted your time, my time, the people time. Like, why are we there? You didn't invest in yourself. You just bought a ticket. And that's the difference. So if you went to InvestFest, let me know down in the comments what your takeaways were, if you thought it was worth it, and if you would be going back. And if you didn't go, hopefully I just saved you ticket price. So subscribe, pay your girl back. Like, I'm not gonna lie and say to you guys, oh, I'm for sure going to every single InvestFest, but I could definitely go again. I definitely learned things and I definitely was empowered and I definitely have actionable items that I took away that are already improving my business. So everything's subjective at the end of the day. And don't forget, guys, if you're serious about ownership, start with education. And if you're serious about education, subscribe to Glowing Together.